Hello there, friends. It's Jacob here once again to talk about the Oscars. Now, hopefully, this video isn't as rambly and long winded as my nomination predictions video because I only have to pick one thing for each category here. But yeah, that's what we're doing here. I'm going to be predicting who I think is going to win all 23 categories at the Oscars coming up in a couple of days or tomorrow, or if I even get this up in time, we shall see. But I'm excited for the show. I'm a bit nervous. I'm really unhappy with some decisions the Academy have made in regards to not presenting certain categories live on the air and just bringing in like these Twitter awards trying to, I don't know, bring in new viewers, but young people don't care about the Oscars really, do they? Anyway, that's a rant for another day. I'm going to be predicting what I think will win, and then I'm going to be pointing out what I think should win out of the category, and then something that I think should have been nominated. Not necessarily my absolute favorite in that category, but just something that had a bit of buzz or maybe could have gotten in there and they really should have recognized. So without further ado, here we go. For Best Picture, I really only think there are two possibilities here, and those are The Power of the Dog and Coda. Belfast was looking like an early front runner, but it's really run out of steam, and I don't think it's going to have the legs to go all the way to Best Picture. So Power of the Dog, it's won Best Picture at almost all of the major precursors, and it's been a heavy, heavy front runner. It really overperformed in Oscar nominations with 12 nominations, but in comes Coda, the little indie that could, wins the SAG Ensemble Award, wins Hollywood Film Critics Best Picture, recently won the PGA for Best Picture, and it won the BAFTA for Adapted Screenplay over Power of the Dog, which they had in Best Picture. It is really having a Parasite level surge, and Parasite didn't necessarily win all of the big major precursors, but it just started sneaking up, won the SAG Ensemble. People loved seeing the cast get up on stage, and I think there's a really similar thing happening with Coda. The cast and crew, they're so lovable, and it's so wonderful to see them give speeches, and the film is really making a play at the right time, and I can just kind of sense it. So I am going to be predicting Coda for Best Picture because my gut and my brain and the stats say Power of the Dog. And whenever we're choosing between two movies like this in Best Picture, I always seem to get it wrong. I incorrectly predicted Roma over Green Book. I missed Parasite. I predicted 1917. So I keep going against the movie that's making Oscar voters feel good. And Power of the Dog doesn't really do that. So I might be wrong here, but I'm going to go against myself, go against all the stats and rules, and I'm predicting Coda for Best Picture. What I think should win out of this category, I would be actually really happy with either of those two. I think they're among the better nominees, but for me, it's Nightmare Alley. Probably the least popular among the Best Picture nominees, but I think it's the best one. And what should have been nominated, Tick, Tick, Boom. I think it was really, really close. There are other movies this year I liked more, but I just would have really loved to see that film get rewarded. And it's obviously a film that people are really passionate about, and it came so close. Best Director. Not going to spend a lot of time on this one. It's Jane Campion. She has not lost a precursor. She's going to take this home for Power of the Dog, and it is not even going to be close. As for who I think should win, Jane Campion. I think she's the best of the 5 nominees here. I'm not a huge fan of most of these picks. I'm pretty lukewarm on films like Belfast and West Side Story and Drive My Car. So I think Campion's going to win this, and really, really deservedly so. Who should have been nominated? Denis Villeneuve. I mean, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. Best Lead Actor. For a while, we thought this was maybe a 2-horse race between Will Smith and Benedict Cumberbatch, but it's really just been all Will Smith, and most of the acting categories are really looking like locks. There's so much love out there for Andrew Garfield, but he just does not seem to have quite the widespread appeal to be in the winning conversation here, so it's going to be Will Smith, and I'm very confident in that. Who do I want to win? Andrew Garfield, obviously. And who should have been nominated here? Nicolas Cage in Pig. There's always an indie performance every year that has a lot of buzz, but just doesn't quite get there because the movie's too small and not enough people saw it. And yeah, he was robbed. Best Actress in a Leading Role. Now, of the 4 acting categories, this is probably the least set in stone, but I'm still pretty confident in predicting Jessica Chastain to win this one for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And I'd be really happy with that. She's my second favorite of the nominees, and really, I really love all the nominees barring Nicole Kidman. I love Nicole Kidman, just not so much for that film. But this is one of the categories where I really kind of still think any of them could win it. But Chastain won the SAG and she won the Critics' Choice. None of them were nominated for the BAFTA, so that didn't give us any data. And Nicole Kidman won the Golden Globe, but she's been nowhere to be seen since. So really, you could make a case for any of these 5 nominees. I know there's a lot of swell for Penelope Cruz I'm seeing on social media right now. Kristen Stewart, you can't count her out, even though she hasn't won anything. But I just think Chastain has the runs on the board, and it's very much an Oscar-y performance, and it's a really, really good one. You know, it transcends being Oscar bait, I think, and Chastain has deserved an Oscar for quite a long time, so that's who I'm predicting. As for who should win, Kristen Stewart. Come on. Come on. And who should have been nominated here? Renate Rines for the worst person in the world. She gave one of the best performances of the year, flat out. And they obviously liked the movie, so it's really, really disappointing to not have seen her show up here. Best Supporting Actor. Similar to Power of the Dog vs. Coda, this has kind of been between Cody Smith-McPhee and Troy Kotzer. And Troy is looking like the frontrunner. Cody was winning every Critics Award. He looked like he was sweeping. He won the Globe, but just as it did for Yo Jung Yoon for performance in Minari at the SAG Awards, it turned to Troy Kotzer, and he has won everything since. And I think the Oscar is his to lose at this point. It's such a wonderful, heartwarming, funny performance in Coda, and he's obviously a really delightful personality and a great deaf actor who's been toiling for 20 years to get a big break like this. So it's just wonderful to see him doing so well, and I think he's going to win it. And I think he should win it. He is easily my favorite of the nominated actors here. As for who should have been nominated, Jason Isaacs for Mass, who gave probably the best performance of the year of anyone, but the Academy weren't ready for that. Best Supporting Actress, Ariana DeBose. She's a lock. She has not lost a precursor. She's not going to lose here. Bet all your money on her winning this. You probably won't get much back because the odds are so short, because she has this in the bag and she deserves it. My personal favorite of the 5 nominees, who I'd say should win, it would be Jessie Buckley for The Lost Daughter, but I have zero issues with Ariana DeBose taking this home because she is incredible in West Side Story and by far the best part of that film. Who should have been nominated? Ann Dowd for Mass. Again, with Isaacs, just an absolute travesty. A travesty. Martha Plimpton for that film as well. Just, I don't know. For Best Adapted Screenplay. Now, I saw this one swinging a few weeks ago, and I bet money on it, so should be nice when it wins. It's Coda. I think Coda is taking home Adapted Screenplay. For a while, it was a bit up in the air. Then it really looked like Power of the Dog was going to take this one home, but Coda, again, beating Power of the Dog for Screenplay at BAFTA, despite them having Power of the Dog in picture and not Coda, that was big. It won the Writers Guild. Power of the Dog wasn't eligible for it, but still, it's been winning the last couple of precursors, and it looks really likely to take that home because they do sometimes like to award the smaller indie films with the screenplay categories. And look, we're giving Campion director, so we can award Sean Heder with screenplay for Coda, and I'm pretty confident that it's going to take it home here. What should win? My favorite of these 5 nominees is actually Dune. I think that is a really, really great adaptation and a really, really well-written blockbuster, but Coda wouldn't be far behind it, and I really love that film. Really, the nominees here are all pretty solid, and I wouldn't be surprised if something upsets, like maybe Drive My Car, if there's enough support for that, but I'm pretty confident with Coda. And what should have been nominated here? A film that really didn't get enough respect from anyone, The Last Duel. If that film came out in 1999, it would have been nominated for like 11 Oscars, and that script from Damon, Affleck, and Holofcener is really quite brilliant and quite bold, and I loved it. Best Original Screenplay. Now, this has kind of the whole time been a race between Belfast and Licorice Pizza. Are they going to give it to Branagh, who they adore, or is PTA, after like something like 11 nominations or something crazy, finally going to win his first Oscar? Looked like it was swinging in the direction of PTA, but I am predicting Belfast. PTA not winning the Writers Guild Award for Original Screenplay, despite Belfast not being eligible, is kind of telling because there's some crossover there. I believe Belfast won at the Critics' Choice also, if I'm not mistaken. Licorice Pizza won BAFTA, but they really loved that film on the whole, so that's kind of to be expected there. But Don't Look Up won the WGA. Don't count that out either, but I think it's going to be Belfast. But don't count out Don't Look Up or Licorice Pizza. But yeah, I don't know. I think from reading anonymous ballots and stuff, there really is a whole lot of love out there for that film, despite it underperforming in the real major categories. What should win? The Worst Person in the World. By far the best written film of the nominees. I was stoked to see it get nominated, but unfortunately, I think that's as far as it's going to go. What should have been nominated? I keep harping on about it. Mass. It was pretty close, I think. I think it wouldn't have been far off getting in there, and it's exactly the kind of movie they should be rewarding with this category, but they don't care about indies. Best Animated Feature. Now, pretty cut and dry, this one. I think it's Encanto. It's always Disney. Every now and then they'll give it to something else, like an Into the Spider-Verse, but if there's a Disney film that's very well liked, chances are it's going to win. So Encanto, I'm pretty confident is going to take this one. A lot of people think Flea's going to come up because they're like, Flea has to win something, but I just don't think there is the widespread appeal for it. Mitchell's vs. the Machines is another one that could potentially spoil, and I would love that, but I think it's going to be Encanto. What should win? Flea. It's one of the best films of the year, period. But I would love to see Mitchell's win also. What should have been nominated? I didn't see a lot of animated movies this year, so I'm pretty happy with that 5. Best Costume Design. I think Cruella has this in the bag. Early on, it was kind of like our placeholder frontrunner because, well, Cruella has big costumes, so that's going to be our pick until something more Oscar-y comes along. But nothing really has. Nothing in this category really stands out in costumes the way Cruella does. And I think it's going to win comfortably. And it's going to deserve it because it would be my pick to win also. What should have been nominated here? Spencer. I don't know how it wasn't. For Best Original Score, I think this one is pretty easily going to Dune. It's a big, loud score, and the sound is so integral to that film, and it's probably going to come along with a likely sound win, which we'll get to. But I think Hans Zimmer is going to get that Oscar for Dune. My pick from that category would probably be Power of the Dog. It's a really, really great score, and I would love to see Johnny Greenwood rewarded here. His best score of the year was Spencer, but they didn't nominate that, so this is like my proxy Spencer pick, but I do think that is the best score of the nominees. What should have been nominated? Spencer. Best score of the year. Not even close. I don't understand. Best sound. It's Dune. Bet your house on it. Dune is not losing this award. And rightly so, because Dune would be my pick to win also. The sound in that film is absolutely sensational. It's incredible. What should have been nominated here? I would have liked to see Coda get in, maybe. I really liked the sound editing in that film, but other than that, it's a pretty great set of nominees, to be honest. Best Cinematography, really one of the best lineups of the whole group, so you can't really go wrong with picking a winner here. And this is one where I think Dune could maybe lose in terms of the technicals. It surely doesn't win everything, but I'm still gonna be predicting Dune because I think it has the runs on the board. It's won enough precursors, but don't be surprised if something like Power of the Dog sweeps in to go with the love for the film, or maybe even A Tragedy of Macbeth just because they love black and white. But I think Dune is going to win this. Not a lock, but I'm pretty confident. What should win? My favorite in this category is definitely Nightmare Alley. I think it's the most interesting looking film of the year. I loved what Guillermo did with Lights and Shadows, and yeah, that would be my pick. What should have been nominated? Spencer. Again, probably my favorite cinematography of the year. What are you going to do? Best Documentary Feature. I think with The Rescue being snubbed from a nomination, I think this is Summer of Souls award to lose. It deals with relevant issues, but in a really, really fun and joyful way with some incredible editing, and it's going to be a really, really deserving winner, and I'm pretty confident in that. What should win? Flea. Again, one of my favorite films of the year. I think Flea should win every award it's nominated for, but Summer of Soul is a winner that I'll be very happy with because it is a phenomenal documentary. What should have been nominated? I would have really liked to see The Rescue get in here. It's a little Oscar baity, but it's such a riveting documentary about just human triumph, and it's awesome. It's a very surprising miss. Best Film Editing. Now, this may actually be the hardest category to predict of the whole night. You could really make a case for any of them, and no real frontrunner has emerged out of the nominees. Dune, Tick Tick Boom, King Richard, The Power of the Dog, Don't Look Up. Really, Dune seems like the obvious one. It's the technical juggernaut, but it hasn't actually won a lot of the precursor awards. King Richard has won some stuff. I can't, off the top of my head, remember which. Power of the Dog's just, it might be the best picture movie, so maybe they give it editing. Tick Tick Boom, sometimes they like to reward something that didn't get a lot of nominations with a technical category, like First Man winning visual effects. You could really make a case for any of them. Don't Look Up, they love Adam McKay, and it probably has the most editing. So yeah, I'm going to go with Dune, simply because it is the technical juggernaut, and editing often goes along with a sound win, and Dune is definitely going to win sound. So I think Dune's the safest pick, but really anything could happen here, and I'm excited to see what does. What should win? I would love to see Tick Tick Boom win this one. Dune has incredible editing, and I'd be really happy with it winning, but Tick Tick Boom just did so many really interesting things, and I think it would be a nice little way to reward the film. Should have been nominated? Should have been nominated and won. Summer of Soul has easily the best editing of the year. The way they put together that footage is absolutely phenomenal and mesmerizing, and it really, really is an achievement. Best International Feature. Well, it's obviously going to be the film that's nominated for Best Picture and Best Director. Drive My Car, lock it in, it's not really a contest. What should win? I haven't seen Lumana, A Yak in the Classroom, but I prefer all three other nominees to Drive My Car, if I'm being honest. I was pretty underwhelmed by that film. But Flea is my favorite of the bunch, worst person in the world too, but it's gonna be Drive My Car. What should have been nominated here? This is a tricky one because there were some great films that weren't submitted by their countries. So had Spain submitted Parallel Mothers, that would have been a really guaranteed and worthy nomination. Makeup and hairstyling, I think this is going to the eyes of Tammy Faye. A lot of people thought House of Gucci for the Jared Leto makeup, but makeup does often go along with a Best Actress win, and Chastain's looking likely for that, and it's really transformative and really well done. And that would be my pick to win as well. I really love the makeup in that. It was very impressive. What should have been nominated here? I would have liked to see Cyrano get a nomination here. I think that film did a lot of really interesting things with color and makeup and costumes and stuff. It was very campy and it worked. Best Original Song, No Time to Die seems the likely winner here. There could be a challenge from Be Alive from King Richard, but I just think they love Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish is great, and it's a banger of a song, and it would be my pick to win as well, No Time to Die. What should have been nominated here? Guns Go Bang from The Harder They Fall. The Academy weren't cool enough to do that, obviously. Best Production Design, another really, really great lineup. I don't know if there's anything here I'd have taken out. This is a tough one. This is one where I might be going against the grain a little bit here, and I'm going to be predicting Nightmare Alley. Dune seems to be out in front a little bit with the precursors, but Nightmare Alley won the period category at the Guild, and it's won a couple other things here and there. And again, if Dune's going to lose one of the technical categories, this is going to be the one I'm putting my money on. It may go wrong, but I think Nightmare Alley is the best chance, and it might be something that they do want to reward because it's such a technically dazzling film. That would be my personal choice to win this as well. So obviously this is a bit of a wishful prediction, but yeah, Nightmare Alley. What should have been nominated here? Spencer. What else? Best Visual Effects. It's going to be Dune, and it's deservedly going to be Dune. There's not a moment in that film that looks fake. It's really, really impressive. What should have been nominated here? Frickin' Godzilla vs. Kong. Why do they hate Godzilla movies? I don't know. Best Animated Short Film. Again, I don't know a lot about these films. I haven't had the chance to see them. So I'll keep this short. For this, I've predicted Robin Robin. It's on Netflix. It's about an animal. They love that. I think that's going to win. For Best Live Action Short Film, I think this one's pretty easy to predict. It is The Long Goodbye. It deals with some social issues. It's produced by Riz Ahmed, so it means they get to give him an Oscar, which is really, really cool. And yeah, it seems the most likely out of what they have here. This is maybe the biggest lock out of the short film categories, but they often do crazy stuff with these, so who knows. Best Documentary Short. I am predicting The Queen of Basketball. Just from everything I've read, it seems the most likely, and it's the safest bet of these nominees. So, those are my predictions. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been somewhat helpful if you're scrambling to make your late predictions. Hopefully the show goes well, and hopefully they do something to honor the technical categories that are just as important a part of filmmaking as anything, you know? But no, we have to do the Twitter award, whatever. I didn't do a prediction for the Twitter award because I don't care about it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you at the Oscars.